right, guys, I want to share my 3x3 pain framework with you about cold outbound email. So I want to kind of take us back in time, 2016, 2017, around that time. I was like an early adopter here in the UK with like tools like Outreach, Lead IQ, Vidyard. And one of the mistakes I was making as a rep doing outbound email, I was trying to tell everybody everything. So I was like, I was diluting the narrative in that first email, overwhelming them, not probably making a whole load of sense. And as a result, emails weren't really performing. And I was relying too heavily just on one channel. And as we know, we want to kind of reach out across all these different channels because some people respond better to different approaches. So I came up with this 3x3 pain framework. So let me take you through it. So basically, I had 3 problems, 3 pain points that I could solve for. So I broke them down. So I had pain number 1, okay? I had pain number 2, and then I had pain number 3. So what it is, I wrote down those 3 major pain points that I knew my prospects could be facing. And then rather than putting all of those 3 pains into one single email, what I did was, I basically, for each one, I had 3 emails. So the first email was things like, it was really hyper relevant. So it's really relevant. Rather than like personalized, I just focused on like, how can I grab this person's attention and be really, really relevant, right? The second was a follow-up. So I call this like a double pain bump. So basically, I'm just calling out 2 root cause problems that's really the problem they need to solve for. And I weaved that one through. And then the third was like some kind of content, some kind of offer, like a one-pager, something that they can use to like, I don't know, analyze their website or improve performance management or something like that, depending on what it is I'm selling, right? And so that third email was all about value. And then I would, once I'd done that for pain number 1, then I moved on to pain number 2, ran that same process, left, maybe a week between those blocks, between this one and this one, and then ran that same thing, hyper relevant email about that second pain. Second email in that chain of 3 was around double pain bump, 2 root causes of what's causing that problem, and then another piece of content, and then moved into pain number 3, and then would end the sequence. And between this, I'm making a bunch of cold calls, voice notes, LinkedIn messages, the odd handwritten letter, that kind of stuff, doing anything I can to grab their attention. And I've just found that this helped me personally as a rep book a load of meetings, and then my teams were super successful with following this kind of approach as well. So if you've got like lots to talk about to the market, see how you can break that up. If you've only got 2 problems, then you do a 2x3. If you just got 1 problem, you do a 1x3, right? Or maybe you do a couple of variations of that and reframe or rephrase that problem there. And if you've got more, then you just keep going, like 4x3, 5x3, right? If you can see that the account is showing signals as high propensity to buy, we want to do everything in our power to reach out. And sometimes it could be the third pain, right, which gets them. That's the one they're really struggling with. And that is just the case sometimes, which is why you have to be persistent, gritty, follow up, and that's, key characteristics of us salespeople. But it also could be the first thing, right? But just make it really clear for people to understand, what problem do we solve? How do we solve it? And what action do we want them to take? If that one's not compelling, let's hit them with the second. If that one's not compelling, let's hit them with the third. If that's the case, maybe messaging's off, or actually our observation of that signal isn't as accurate as we think it is, and they're not really in pain, which is why they're not responding, and we need to nurture them and come back to it in a little while. So hopefully this is going to help you, because I get a lot of emails still to this day, either selling to me or reps I'm coaching, and I feel like we're just trying to be everything to everybody. We're trying to pack everything into one email. It becomes overwhelming, very confusing, and people just push away from it, or they walk away from that and go to their next email, and that's why you don't get a reply, right? So let's make it really easy for people to connect those dots. I hope this was helpful. Love to see in the comments if you guys are doing anything like this at the moment, or what you would be doing differently on those 1, 2s, and 3s. Like I said, I do hyper relevant first email, call out the problem, why I believe that problem is relevant to them, and what the cost of inaction could look like. Second email is that double pain bump. What are like 2 root causes of that problem? And then the third is some kind of content, value-based follow-up offer. Hey, hopefully this helps. Maybe you don't need my kind of support at this stage, that kind of thing.